Good morning, everyone. We are the first reporters. Baking is a science and an art. To deal with the science part, you must use baking tools and equipment. Measurements are crucial in making the perfect baked goods, so you must know which baking tools and equipment you must have. However, if you're a beginner baker, choosing which tools and equipment to buy can be time consuming and intimidating. Don't worry though, because we got your back. In this report, we'll talk about baking tools and equipment every baker must know.
First baking tool is measuring spoons. Measurements are the most important part of baking. When you add too much cornstarch or sugar, your baked goods won't turn out great. They will be too thick or too sweet. This is where measuring spoons come in. Since desserts like this, dream cake recipe call for measurements in tablespoons and teaspoons, you must have measuring spoons. Second, measuring cups. Baking is about accuracy. You must closely follow the recipes to make delicious treats. This includes measuring liquid ingredients properly. So, you must have a complete set of measuring cup, or at least have a conversation chart ready. Third, kitchen scale. Some recipe call for ingredient in pounds or grams. Given this, you must have kitchen scale. This makes you ready in case your newfound recipe calls for ingredients in grams.
Spatula. One of the most important baking tools and equipment is a spatula. It helps you to flip, spread, and scrape food. There are three types of spatula: flippers, scrapers, and spreaders. Flippers. Flippers are usually used for frying. They are not highly essential for baking, but you can use them to serve dishes like baked macaroni. Spreaders are long, narrow spatulas, as its name implies. You can use it to spread frosting on cakes or cupcakes. Scrapers. Scrapers are usually made of rubber. They are used to scrape liquid mixtures. They can also be used to gently mix ingredients.
A spatula is used typically to flip something, and they come in all shapes and sizes and all widths. This particular spatula is a wide width one, meaning that I can flip something a little bit bigger like a pancake. And that is a spatula.
Pastry brush. A pastry brush is another essential baking tool. Contrary to popular belief, a pastry brush has multiple uses. For one, you can use it to grease a pan before baking. Moreover, you can use it to top a dough with a pie crust. You can also use it to top a dough up with egg wash. If you are going to mix a lot of ingredients when baking, from flour and sugar to eggs and chocolates, you have to mix often. However, you cannot mix them without bowls. Mixing bowls allows you to mix ingredients then incorporate them to the mixture as you bake.
Wire rack. If you don't want soggy, overbaked pastries, you need to have a wire rack in your kitchen. A wire rack lets air circulate around your pastries. By doing this, your pastries cool well. Since cupcakes cannot be frosted while hot, you must have a wire rack. In addition, it helps you cool down cookies and donuts before you dip them into sauce. Whisk. A whisk is mainly used to beat eggs, but it has other purposes. For one, you can use it to mix liquid ingredients like milk and water together. You can also use it to mix dry ingredients like flour, sugar, and cocoa powder. In addition, whisks are an alternative to mixers. If you cannot afford to have an electric mixer yet, a whisk can help whip cream and beat eggs.
To whisk eggs, start by cracking them into a bowl. Then, using a whisk or fork, stir the eggs quickly in a circular motion. As you're stirring the eggs, lift the whisk or fork out of the mixture every so often to make more air bubbles. Make sure to hold onto the bowl with your free hand so you're able to stir quickly without moving the bowl around. If your recipe calls for stiff peaks, whisk egg whites until the egg mixture stands firm when you lift the whisk out of the bowl and rotate it.
Baking pan. Because of its heat conductivity, a baking pan is great for recipes when you need a bit of browning. Most commonly, a baking pan will be used for cakes, but you can also use a baking pan for treats such as brownies, muffins, and breads.
Knives. Preparing your ingredients involves slicing, peeling, and chopping. A chef's knife lets you do all that. You can use this multiple knife to prepare chocolate, meat, and other ingredients. If you don't have parchment paper in your kitchen yet, buy it now. For one, putting parchment paper on your pan before baking prevents your baked goods from sticking to the pan.
Parchment paper is a handy item to keep in the kitchen for regular use. There are many more uses for it than you might think. Line cookie sheets and baking pans. You can line cake pans and baked pasta pans with parchment paper for non-stick results and easy cleanup. Be sure to spray pans with non-stick cooking spray prior to inserting parchment paper so that the paper stays in place. Wrap baked goods. Parchment paper makes the perfect wrapping paper for baked goods and it looks chic and rustic. After wrapping, use tape to secure and finish with twine or ribbon. Replace paper cupcake liners in a pinch. When you're making muffins or cupcakes and run out of liners, use parchment paper instead. Cut 5-inch squares of parchment paper, spray each muffin cup and press a paper square into each cup, taking care to press the paper firmly against the sides to avoid folds. Make a snack cone. Don't you love when you go to a restaurant that serves fries in a cone? Make your own at home with parchment paper by simply rolling the paper into a cone and securing with a tape. This works great for all sorts of munchies like popcorns and nuts too. Cut down on microwave messes. Instead of paper towels, cover dishes in the microwave with parchment paper to cut down on the splatter. Your microwave will thank you.
Rolling pin is one of the baking tools and equipment you cannot live without. To start with, rolling pin is used to roll bread, biscuits, and cookies. Using a rolling pin, you can evenly flatten this pastry. This makes your baked, crisp, delicious pastry.
Electric mixer. Whether it's a hand or a stand mixer, an electric mixer makes your baking life easier. To begin with, an electric mixer saves you a lot of time. Mixing ingredients without a mixer is time consuming. It also helps you mix ingredients the way they should be mixed. This ensures that you get the recipe right. Here's a short video clip on how to use an electric mixer, so please watch it. Food processor. A knife can help you chop ingredients. A rolling pin can help you crush your garnish. However, they cannot give the fine texture a food processor can. Aside from the fine texture it produces, a food processor also saves you a lot of time. It can chop ingredients within seconds, so you have more time for baking. Let me show you a short video clip that shows on how to use a food processor. Oven. An oven is the most important processing step in the baking industry for several reasons. It is the workhorse of the bakery. Baking in the oven is the step that imparts the final characteristics to the products, such as the shelf life, flavor, texture, color, and aroma. Whether you just started baking or advancing your baking skills, you must have these baking tools and equipment. Without them, your baking journey won't be as smooth as you expect.